Right then, welcome back to the channel, and today we have got some more 1.9 PD content. We're going to be taking this 1.9 PD130 Ibiza and making it into a proper little ripper. We're going to be pushing this customer's car way beyond the factory limits. We're talking full GTB turbo kit, race cam, race injectors, custom remap, the works. And by the time we're done with it, this thing is going to be putting down more than double the stock power. So let's take a closer look at the parts that we're going to be fitting today. So let's start with the best looking thing on this table, the tubular manifold. So this is part of our GTB turbo kit. As you can see, it is a work of art. Real shame that these get hidden down the back of the engine, and this is one of the probably last times the customer's going to see this. That gets bolted to the head, the turbo then gets bolted to the manifold. So this is a Garrett GTB 2260. I'd say this is the GOAT of 1.9 TDI turbo upgrades. We've been using these for probably knocking on over 10 years, and there is very little that can compare to this in terms of power, reliability, and everything else you'd want from a turbo. We've got the downpipe, we've got the intake pipe with the AEM filter, obviously all the ancillaries, nuts, bolts, gaskets, oil return, oil feed, things like that. Moving on to the head, so this is having our race camshaft. Along with that, it's got the INA blacktop lifters. We have got new bearings. It's also having the head studs to prevent the head lift, which, especially at this kind of power, you definitely want to be putting the studs in. I'd say anything over 230, the studs are recommended. Anything less than that, you can get away with like the PD150 head bolts. This is also having the 80% injectors, so stock PD150, 130 injectors with the Firad 80% nozzles fitted. And then we're also going to be fitting our turbo blanket to this as well, just to keep the engine bay temperatures controlled. And that's about all the parts that we're going to be fitting today. You're probably thinking, well, why hasn't this got an intercooler here or anything else? And that's because the car isn't exactly standard. It's already got our Seat Sport intercooler on there, hard pipe kit, and a few other supporting mods to go along with all this. So as always, I'm going to stop waffling and let the lads crack on and get these parts fitted. Right, the results are in, and as mentioned at the beginning of this video, we're aiming for twice the stock horsepower, and we've got pretty much exactly that. We are now at 266.6 horsepower and 390 foot-pound of torque, so plenty of torque. Really nice dyno graph. As you can see, it's quite a flat power curve all the way to the red line at 4,900 RPM, and then we've got plenty of torque from like 2,600 RPM. So a little bit of lag low down with the 2260 turbo, which is to be expected with the size of it, but it definitely makes up at the top end when you're fully on boost. So let's get this out on the road and see what it drives like. Right, we are out in the Ibiza. This now has twice the horsepower it came out of the factory with, and as soon as you jump in one of these things, you can just tell that it's going to be pretty fun to drive. We've been doing quite a few big BMW builds recently, and the driving experience compared to one of those in this is just completely different. This feels raw, it feels like a hot hatch, whereas the BMWs, don't get me wrong, they are exceptionally quick, but some of them are still a little bit boring. I think that's because they are such a nice place to be. I've mentioned in the BMW videos plenty of times, I think the 35D engines and the 30 F-Series are probably one of the best all-round cars, because you can just kind of drive around in complete comfort, but then have well over 400 horsepower, 500 horsepower. But there's none of that fancy stuff in here. This is very back to basics, old school driving experience, which I think is exactly what you want if you're buying a Seat Ibiza to kind of rip around in. I have owned one of these myself in the past. Little cheap £500 runabout PD130, stuck a map on it, one tyre fire everywhere you went, and I'll be honest, it's probably one of the most fun cars I've had. But I think as soon as you start sticking big turbos on these, it's a whole new ball game. Unless you've driven a 1.9 with a big turbo on, I don't think you'd understand. It's a completely different driving experience to, say, a petrol car with this sort of power. If you're not a diesel person, like I said, you won't have experienced that torque. This has now got 380 pounds-feet of torque in something that weighs, I'm not exactly sure how much these weigh, but I don't know, 1,200 kilos, something like that. So I'm going to stop waffling now and see if this 1.9 TDI pulls like a steam train. I can't see a thing! I can't see a thing! Pretty quick, pretty quick. There's no doubt about it, these are very fun. Cheap fun as well, really. I think the customer's going to be very, very happy with this. It's collecting later this morning, so we'll head back to the workshop. Hopefully you've liked this video. If you have, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.